Hi guys and gals, welcome back to the channel. One of the things that I learned early on was treating yourself like a household bill, like a utility bill, alright? So let me explain. Every month there are things that need to be paid so that you can have certain things. You want shelter, a home to live in, so you pay your monthly rent or your mortgage, your monthly mortgage payments. You want to be warm at home, so you pay your gas bill. You want to have light and electricity at home, so to power everything, so you pay your electricity bill. You need to be able to wash things and yourself, so you pay for running water to your house. You want to be connected to the outside world, internet, your broadband. You need to survive, so you can pay for your weekly. You pay for your weekly food shop. You need to pay your council tax to maintain the service and the infrastructure in your community. And then there are the non-essential things like streaming services, a TV license, other subscriptions, or paying off that nice sofa that you bought on contract. So, what happens with what is left over? You might have $200, £200 left over. I've always found that that little bit that's left over, whether little or large, it disappears somehow. You have 100 left over, so it goes on cups of Starbucks, cups of coffee that you don't really need, and that can add up over time. It's spent on treating yourself to lunch a few times. When out with your friends, you think, oh, what the heck, I've got a bit left over this month. Yeah, I'll come out with you, or let's go to a restaurant instead of getting a takeaway or something. But one thing you've forgotten to do is pay yourself. Is paying yourself. Just like you need or want all the essential and non-essential things I mentioned earlier. Is financial freedom not something that you want as well? I assume it is if you're on this channel and you're listening to these videos. With all the things I mentioned before, the outflow of your money gives you an immediate impact. The paying of the rent or mortgage means the bank or the landlord won't be breathing down your neck next month. The paying of your gas and electricity and broadband and water and all those other things, it's that makes it so that you don't get disconnected next month, or they don't start calling you straight away. So the impact of not paying them is immediate. So it's forefront in your mind to do that. And it's obvious that in your mind that paying for these things monthly just has to be done to keep everything running smoothly, to keep the engine of your life well oiled, month after month after month. So why is achieving financial freedom not the same? Well, it is because it is not perceivable. It has no perceivable effect in the short term, and the brain has difficulty seeing it as such. Because it's true, value investing does not yield overnight results. Not even within a year, you might not, get the results that you're hoping for. But just like rolling a snowball down a hill, after one rotation, not much has happened. But after several, you start to see results. But only if you put snow in front of it. Imagine you have this imaginary hill in front of you where you can roll a snowball down it for years and years to come. Think about how big that snowball could be if you started pushing it down the hill now. If you keep putting snow in front of it, it'll grow and it'll grow and it'll grow. And the magic about this snowball is that you are pushing it. You're pushing this snowball. It is compounding. It's a compounding snowball. With every push, it not only grows from the outside with the I was going to say the money you put in front of it, with the snow you put in front of it. It grows from the inside as well. So that's this kind of magic snowball that you're pushing. It grows from the inside according to how much snow the snowball currently has within it. So I took off with that kind of snowball analogy there a bit. But I hope you get the gist. Financial freedom is, for most, way off in the future. But you will get there even quicker if you can put some money aside every month into your investment account and treat it as if it is just another monthly utility bill that you have to pay. Maybe you start with 100, or maybe 200, whatever's left over, or maybe you start with a bit less. That is up to you. It's up to your own, circumstance. But after a while, it all mounts up. But this channel is about investing, not saving. If that money you put aside just sits there, inflation will start eating away at it year after year after year. This only works if you put the extra pennies that you have into a compounding machine of some sort. Such as wonderful companies that can compound your pennies and your pounds and your capital year after year after year while you sleep. If you found a compounding machine that grew your wealth, wouldn't you want to feed it as much as you could? If you literally had this box that spat out more money, the more money you put into it, wouldn't you treat that as more of a priority, this compounding machine? That is why paying yourself first and treating yourself like a household bill can pay off in a massive way in the future. But you must start today. I tried to make this, in my own investing life as automated as possible. Just like each of those companies reaches into my bank account and takes what they need from me for the electric, the water, the mortgage, the rent, whatever it is. I want my brokerage account to do the same so that I don't get a say. I don't have to think about it. I want it set up in such a way where it just happens. And then my brain has this new amount, say £100 or $100 left over to mess around with. And that's okay because I understand that I want financial freedom. I understood that when I set this up. I have recognized that setting money aside for that is moving towards that goal, and I have paid myself first. And it's also not fixed, and it can be dynamic. It can be stopped and started, increased or decreased, but where possible, set it up in a way where you don't even know it exists. You don't even, you don't ever touch it. It just comes out, and then it just becomes normal that you have this other outflow, and you don't even see it. The more automated it can be, the better. The less you see that extra slice of your paycheck that comes out, the better. I have it set up that 15% of my salary comes out before I even see it in my bank account. This works so well because you learn to live within your means with the money that you get, and you forget that 15% has come out every month. That's the idea. But it's been working for me for quite a number of years. If you can implement this in some way now and stick to it, I guarantee your future self is looking back at you right now and giving you a well-deserved round of applause and tapping you on the back, giving you a pat on the back. It's just it's hard to see it short term. You have to kind of trick your brain here a little bit. There are many brokerages here in the UK, and probably many in other countries where you're from, where you can set up a scheduled monthly payment or a direct debit to just come out of your account when the rest of your bills come out. With some, you can even tell it to allocate all or some of that money you put aside to a particular investment. So this is especially useful if you're passively investing, like dollar cost averaging. Into an index fund, or you could use it also to let it build up in an investment portfolio until you find a wonderful company that's on sale. I couldn't help but build a simple spreadsheet to illustrate this. So let's just jump over there, and I'll show you some of these figures and how they can actually make a big impact. So here I've just created a simple kind of spreadsheet, which I hope can illustrate what I'm talking about. I'm going to make some assumptions here. So imagine your starting capital is $10,000, £10,000, whatever it is in whatever currency you're using. And I'm going to say, if we turn on this cell, I'm going to say that assumes that we're able to save monthly $100. Won't turn that on, and then I'm going to assume 3% inflation. It might be different in your country, but generally in the UK where I am, that's a good number to use. So if we just do regular savings, if we do £100 a month, that's $1,200 a year, and this is the cash in the bank. Okay, so if we turn the annual savings off for a minute, so you start with your 10,000, your cash in the bank increases by, I don't know, on average an interest rate could be 2% a year. Okay, it might be less, it might be slightly more than that. You might be able to get that's typically what a savings account, just a cash savings account would kind of yield you. So at the end of 40 years, you've doubled it. Congratulations. It's taken you 40 years to get there, but you've doubled it. Oh no, wait, but have you? So let's turn 3% inflation on. Okay. The buying power of your money over 40 years, after every single year with inflation, gets eroded. And actually, the equivalent you have, your 10,000 has turned into 6.5. So, if you're not aware of the impacts of inflation, that is pretty hard to kind of imagine. So, what are we supposed to do though? If 2%, if we lose money, what are we supposed to do? So the S&P historical average, if you're investing in a S&P 500 index fund, around 10% with dividends. So let's turn that on. So already that turns your £10,000 without monthly savings, without investing, without saving $100 monthly. That already does a great deal. I mean, just after 10 years, you've doubled your money. But then look what happens when we turn the savings on. So we've gone from, what was it without the savings? £133,000 after 40 years. 40 years is still a long way to wait. 133 to 350. That's a massive increase. And you can see this line on the graph slowly starting to curve up. These other ones down here, flat at 2%. If I turn the annual savings off, again, the S&P 500 index still looks a bit too flat, So let's see what we can get when we start playing around with investing our money at 15%. Okay, with a 15% minimum acceptable rate of return, which is what we aim for in value investing. We aim to at least get that 15%. So starts to look a little different. Turn on the annual savings. Well, first of all, without saving annually, that $10,000, £10,000, whatever it is, turns into nearly 800k after 40 years. Even after just 10 years, we're up to 30. So, and it's way more of a hockey stick effect here. We're starting to see the compounding really take in, and then you can turbocharge this by, look how much you can turbocharge it by saving just £100. And this assumes that we don't increase the amount we save over the 40 years. We still save $100, £100, whatever it is, every month for the 40 years. We don't change that. And the difference is, so we got 800k to over 1.5 million. Okay, so this is really the exponential, compounding, eighth wonder of the world, growth curve that you can see here, really working its magic. A lot of the gains, come at the end. That's why it's hard for the mind to kind of see things short term, because you see, in here in the short term, all those lines look really close together, but it's only towards the end where you really get the kind of the payoff And then if I just expand the bottom here, you can see that, when you invest at 15%, with a minimum acceptable rate of return of 15%, 52% of your gains is coming from the money that you're saving monthly. 48% is coming from the starting capital, but 50% of that is coming from what you've saved monthly. And the higher your rate of return, the more that will be the case. So yeah, hopefully that can kind of illustrate things a bit for you. Of course, we look to invest with a margin of safety. 15% is our minimum acceptable rate of return. So the numbers get pretty incredible when you start factoring in, what if we can actually hit our 23% rate of return, which is what a 50% margin of safety will give you. And this is, when you're up in this region here, that's the financial freedom kind of range. That's the power they can give. And obviously, normally you would be saving more than £100 a month as the years go on. You might, be able to be saving more than that. So this is kind of a conservative kind of estimate. But you can see what I'm trying to get at here. It's if you haven't already seen these kind of numbers, or seen what the power of compounding can do, and just switching on that monthly savings has a massive effect on the future value. Imagine trying to swim upstream to your financial freedom with your legs tied up. Ain't gonna happen. If you put some money aside each month, however, but still don't invest it at all, we at least get our legs untied, but we can't make much progress, can we? We can't, make much progress upstream, as inflation, the current, is still attacking us. Now, if we turn the compounding machine on with some passive investing in index funds, we can sit in a boat instead with an engine, and getting upstream becomes a little bit easier. We can get the mother of all engines if we can deploy the principles of value investing to invest in wonderful companies with a minimum acceptable rate of return of 15%. Okay? And all of these methods will be turbocharged by treating yourself and your investing goals as a monthly bill that's just got to be paid. That's the magic of compounding. You saw, what those curves look like on those charts. It's the magic of compounding, ladies and gentlemen, and why Einstein calls it the eighth wonder of the world. The more we can fuel that engine, the more it can work its compounding magic for us. Now, obviously, again, this is for long-term money, as the journey will be a lot bumpier than those nice lines, that I showed you going up forever, up and to the right. So any money needed for the short term starts out, it stays out of investing. But that's the beauty of paying yourself. You're in control. So if you are saving up for a house deposit, or some new windows for your house, or anything for that matter, those siphoned off $100, £100 here and there, they get to go there first for those big kind of purchases that you need. Once those buckets are filled, you can start feeding the compounding machine again. I hope I haven't confused you all with talk about snowballs and swimming upstream. It really helped me when I changed my mindset into paying myself first when that paycheck comes in, and it can help you too. Do you have any methods that you adopt to pay yourself first? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd be really interested to have a read. But that's it from me today. So let's all go out there and become super investors together. I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers. Take care.